Colleagues, I find it very ironic. There was a poll this week. It showed the Oregonians' approval rating for the legislature is at a whopping 26%. Yet here we go, thwarting the will of voters again and poking them in the eye. You silly voters, you trusted us to do what we said we'd do. Why do you think voter apathy is at an all-time high? Measure 57 passed by 61% statewide. In fact, the only public hearing having to do with Measure 57 took place last November. This bill had no public hearing. We said, trust us on Measure 57. This will be much better alternative than that other bill, and it would cost a whole lot less money, and we have treatment added. In fact, here's the pitch from the voters' pamphlet just last November. This was from the statement on behalf of the legislature in support of the bill. It says, these increased sentences ensure that criminals get the sentences they deserve. It makes sense to have tougher sentences, but it also makes sense to stop drug-addicted repeat offenders and revolving door justice. Measure 57. It's the better way to fight crime in Oregon. Apparently, only when it's convenient, and only when we feel like using Measure 57. We asked voters to pick our plan to fight property crimes over the other plan, and this plan won. And we're about to say, it's not important. By the way, a new poll shows that over half are opposed to the changes being proposed in House Bill 3508 to undermine Measure 57's implementation and to increase time off for good behavior. Folks, public safety is our #1 priority in state government. We have hundreds of millions of dollars laying around in reserve funds and ending fund balances in the state budget. There is no need to cut these programs and phase in, or in my view, phase out Measure 57. What kind of message does this send? We have other priorities like giving money to the film industry and experimental energy projects, as opposed to keeping chronic identity thieves and burglars locked up? Why do we need a 3 or 4 year delay in some of the provisions of Measure 57? And come on, let's be real. Going to 30% good time will soon become permanent, and we all know it. Once you go there, it will be too hard to go back. Many of the changes proposed in this legislation go way beyond Measure 57. This bill breaks a promise to the voters, and it will only increase the crime rate by letting out more bad guys, increasing the number of property offenders, and it sets a bad path for the future. I hope you'll join me in voting no.